What's going on YouTube, man? It's your boy Action Jackson, man. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my week 2 daily picks, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and opinions on the NFC East so far, man. And so looking back on my week 2 NFL picks, as you guys can see right here, using the same image that I used on Friday. So looking back at my picks, I went 11-4, and then my week 1, I went 9-6. So I've been above 500. A little pat on the back, a little bit pat on the back. I know me a little bit about the NFL, but yeah. So just giving you a quick rundown on all the games that happened on Sunday. Falcons and Bucks. The game ended up being a blowout because of what Matt Ryan did towards the end of the game. But if you really look at the box score, it was really close until about that halftime mark. Well, no, I'm tripping. Not halftime, because leading into halftime, the Buccaneers was beating the Falcons 28-10. And then coming out the half, the Falcons scored like 15 straight unanswered points and tied it up. Not tied it up, but they made it a close ball game. It was 28-25. Then as soon as Matt Ryan got the ball back, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do what they do. They cause havoc with their front seven. Matt Ryan prone to doing turnovers. This is the reason why I can't stand the Atlanta Falcons. But the Bucs did what they were supposed to do. Matt Ryan and 2 pursuing drives after that, after they tied up the score. I mean, not tied it up. I keep saying tied it up, but they didn't. But made the game close, 28-25. He threw 2 back-to-back pick sixes. Mike Edwards both picked it off, took him to the house twice, and that's what ended up being. It went from a close game to being a landslide. I think it was like 42-25 was the final score, but I got that game right. Raiders and Steelers. I picked the Raiders. If you look back on my Friday's video, if you listen to it, I picked the Raiders to win. They had momentum, beating a playoff team. Former playoff team from last year, but this year's a whole different ball game. But with this year, man, the Raiders have momentum. They finally played defense. I really can't talk from a Cowboy fan, but hey, man, the Cowboys and Raiders, they both stepped up with their defense. I really like that. So the Raiders, they stepped up. They balled, man. Najee Harris had a crazy little stiff arm on Jonathan Abram. But anyway, the Raiders ended up defeating them. Henry Ruggs balled out. He had like 7-8 receptions for 116 yards and a long, deep touchdown. Pause. The Steelers, man, the Steelers are still having the same form of problems that they had last year. They're having injuries, unfortunate injuries on the defensive side of the football. Devin Bush is still missing time because he tore his ACL towards the later part of last year. So, you tear your ACL with like that, you need just a year just to recover, but then you're going to need at least 2 years, so about another year on top of that year that you're going to miss. So, they're missing Devin Bush. I believe Joe Hayden was injured, and then TJ Watt pulled his groin. So, the Raiders, not the Raiders, but the Steelers, that were injured, and then, their offensive line is still trash. They can't protect Big Ben, and they can't run block. So, like how I said, the Raiders, not the Raiders, keep saying the Raiders, but the Steelers are one of those organizations, them, the Bears, the Cowboys, they always end up finding them generational type backs, but they believe that if they draft them a nice back like a Najee Harris or whoever, like Zeke or whatever, you think that if you draft these generational backs and you bring them into a situation where your offensive line cannot block, you think your running back can make over your deficiencies or the horrible offensive line that you have. Some cases it's like that, but more times than not, your generational type running back cannot make up for your trash offensive line. Barry Sanders was really great. He made it, but he had to have some sort of line for him to be that great. But Barry Sanders, he was great without a line. Adrian Peterson was really great too. He sort of had a good line, but it wasn't really great. Like I said, Saquon Barkley, that's the reason why he keeps on getting injured, because every time they run the ball, he keeps getting blown up in the backfield. So, Steelers can't protect Big Ben, and they can't run block for Najee Harris. So it's gonna be a long season for them. So I ended up picking the Raiders. The Raiders did their thing, man. I'm proud of the Raiders right now. I really am. Looking at the Rams, Carson Wentz, you're playing against one of the better top 5 defenses in the league, so I already knew that Carson Wentz wasn't going to be able to hang. And not only that, just not picking on him. His wide receivers, they're solid. They got Michael Pittman, they got Paris Campbell and things like that. Rookie, like I said before, you have that pass rush with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. You got that nice defense. You got Pastor Tan, Justin Simmons, so on and so forth. They got a really young, great team, and they're to me they're really one of the better team. Not really they are record wise one of the better teams in the NFL, but like I said, I picked them to be one of my sleeper teams this year. I really think people are going to sleep on the Broncos, and I think that the Broncos will make the playoffs this year. But the Broncos, they did what they're supposed to do. They beat up on a bad, inexperienced team in the Jaguars. They went out there, took care of business. So yeah, they got the dub over there. Cardinals, K1 balled out again about another 4 or 5 touchdown total day. He went straight off. Vikings should have won this game. They missed the last second field goal, so I ended up picking the Cards. I won that matchup. Browns, like I said, the Texans, they got their dub against a bad and inexperienced Jaguars team, and Tyler Taylor was looking good in both games. Tyler Taylor went down, sad for him, with a hamstring. They said he's going to miss at least 4 weeks, and that's really, really tough on the Texans. Now your best quarterback, Deshaun Watson, isn't there. I believe holding out, waiting until he finds a trade partner. Tyrod Taylor balled out, but he just got a hamstring injury. Now you got to depend on your third-round rookie that you drafted out of Stanford and David Mills. So it's going to be a tough matchup for them on Thursday when they go up against the Panthers. Panthers, I know that they're a really young team, and they're really hungry. They really want to win. And I ended up picking the Aints, man. And the Aints did what they But I understand why they lost, though. Put all the hate, it's not really the hate, but put away all the jokes aside, man. The Saints, man, they had 8 coaches out, and they're dealing with a really tough time out there in Louisiana, and they're having hurricanes and things like that. So they're not really playing in their home. They're not playing at home field right now, And and they went against the Panthers at their home, but they had 8 missing assistant coaches and things like that. So it was really tough on the Saints, man. So Panthers, they went out there, they balled, they were hungry, they wanted it more. But you got to take into account that, COVID outbreak within the coaching staff. So they didn't have a lot of assistant coaches and things like that. And the Saints are still missing Michael Thomas. So, it is what it is. They're going to bounce back, though. I'm not really tripping. Bears and Bengals, Andy Dalton went out. Sad for him, man. I believe with like a knee injury or something like that. He had he had one of the lower leg injury. Hopefully he's fine. But Justin Fields, he did his thing. He didn't do a whole lot. He didn't have to. Bears defense stepped up. Justin Fields did great. He did game manage, didn't turn over the ball, got first downs, efficient passing. So he's fine. They picked the up over the Bengals. I lost that game. Like I said, anytime, unless it's division on division, I don't really root for, division teams. But if you're going against my division rival, I'm always going to root for you. You're always going to have a fan of me, a fan of me and a friend of me. So I got the Niners beat the Eagles, won that matchup. Bills absolutely blew out the Dolphins, 35-0. Green Bay, that game shut off like an hour and a half ago. Green Bay. It was a close game until like the second half, and then Green Bay just took over and ended up blowing out the Lions. Seahawks, Titans. Seahawks blew this game. Not going to really go into too much in depth. People were overhyping. There's one guy on Twitter, not going to really name any names, but this guy on Twitter was like, he thought that Derrick Henry fell off an imaginary cliff and just thought that Derrick Henry just fell off. And there's all this recency bias, Arizona put them in a hole where Tennessee they couldn't run the ball anymore because they were down so much and things like that. But Derrick Henry balled out, showed why he's the best running back in the league. So he did his thing. They ended up coming back winning, so I took an L. Hey, my Cowboys, you guys already had my reaction yesterday. We did our thing, but touching on it, people argue with their entire fan base. That's like 10 of them. But anyway, they were crying about how we got bailed out by refs. So I'm going to make these quick facts, and then I'm gonna move on. Obviously, I'm always gonna pick my team, so I end up getting a W in that. But I'm gonna lay out these quick ground rules real quick. When you're rooting for an NFL team, if you're an NFL team, you don't ever want to put your hands. You don't ever want to put your team's fate in the hands of special teams, aka your kicker, or you don't ever want to put your game in the hands of the refs. If you put the game in the hands of the refs, you will lose every single time. The refs will not bail you out no matter who you are. Even Tom Brady, you will not get the refs to help you out. So that's one. Two, the refs ain't the reason why we ran for 200 on you guys. Three, the refs ain't the reason why Herbo threw 2 interceptions. 4, the refs ain't the reason why that your kicker missed a field goal right before half when he could have tied up the score when it could have been 14-14 and a half. And 5, the refs ain't the reason why we drove down on you. We still had I believe we had the field. We had to start like at the 20 or the 25, and we still had to drive on you anyway to win the game. Now, I don't want to hear nothing about no refs. Y'all lost the game. And this is classic Charger fashion. Plenty of time before they could have been playoff teams. They honestly, if you look at all their games and all the close games they lost, they should be a playoff team every single year. They lose close games like this all the time. All the time they lose close games like this. So it's fine. They'll be fine. I believe the Chargers are still going to make the playoffs. I ain't down the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a really good football team. So I ain't tripping about them. They're going to have to go out and go play KC, man. So, and they always, the past couple times they've been playing KC, they've been playing tough with them, especially with Herbo in the game. I mean, it's going to be a real good game. So good luck to the Chargers again. Pats, all I got to say is Bill Belichick versus a rookie quarterback. Don't end well for the rookie quarterback unless you're like Patrick Mahomes, even though like it's so tough on him. But Patrick Mahomes, I believe, maybe Peyton Manning, maybe, but Bill Belichick, he always eats up them rookie quarterbacks, man, all the time. New York, Washington, don't care about this game. It wasn't for the NFC West, my bad, the NFC East, and it wasn't for like significant changes or draft status or anything like that. So this game didn't matter. It wasn't like they were playing for like the number 1 pick or anything like that. Chiefs Ravens, really good game. Really good game. Game of the day, along with the Cowboys, and then you also have the Arizona Vikings game. That was a really good game. And then you have the Tennessee Seattle game, and then you have the Raiders and Steelers. Those are like the top 5, top 6 games and the entire day on Sunday. We had really good games on Sunday. This was a really good game. Chiefs looked like they were about to blow them out. Ravens went out there, got a few turnovers. Chiefs had the game in the bag, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled. Chiefs fans were mad. I would be mad too. So, Chiefs were fine. They're probably gonna go out there next week anyway and take their frustration out on the Chargers, so it doesn't matter. So right there, that's recapping my week 2 picks. I went 11-4. You can say 11-5 because I didn't have a dog in the fight between Washington and New York. So I went 11-5 in fantasy, man. So I did really good in my opinion. So there goes that. Then now we're about to head into the topic talking about the NFC East, man. Let's get it. All right, man. So looking at this NFC East standings, it's 3-way tie right now between the NFC East, 1-1, 3 teams in a row. You got the Washington, you got Philly, and you got Dallas. Already looks like we're already significantly better than what we were last year so far, as I'm talking about division as a whole. Giants right now, technically they should be 1-1, but it is what it is. It's fine. Doesn't matter with me because it doesn't matter. Like I said, the winner of that game would have been 0-2 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Washington, the Bills are going to do what they're going to do against Washington. Washington, they're very limited to me. I felt like if you have their defense out there, any defense, no matter if it's the Bucks, if it's the 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens, if you put a defense out on the field for too long, they're eventually going to fold. And in today's NFL, it's not the 90s, it's not the 80s no more, and 70s where you can depend on a all-right running game and then have a significant defense and think you're going to win a lot of football games and hopefully take you to the championship. Niners were probably the only team like this where they were really dominant in the run game and their defense was really solid and was carrying them in games. But leading into now the years of the quarterback is that you need a great quarterback. To me, I feel like the past Super Bowl winners, the past two Super Bowl winners, you need a great quarterback play and a great quarterback to win you games. Washington, everyone's saying that if they give them like a Matt Stafford, like a Deshaun Watson, this team's a Super Bowl contender. I don't see it. Offensive line's too weak. Running back isn't really that well. Secondary is suspect. Defensive line's fine, but their linebacker play could need some work. So I think the Bills are going to come out here. They're going to dominate the Washington football team. They're going to dominate. Josh Allen's going to have himself a day. He's going to ball. And they're going to beat the heck out of the Washington football team. As that's what I hope. So Washington, to me, they're one they're one of the most overhyped teams in the NFC. I don't see nothing happening with them. Philly, overhyped as hell. Everyone's on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon saying he's the future of Philly and things of that nature. So one thing, if I ever get any Eagle haters or Cowboy haters, like on the edge or if you're on the hedge or if you're on the fence about the Cowboys, you say that they're inconsistent and things like that. One thing I will say, when we do play against Philly, you say that we might be efficient in defense and things of that nature. But look, anytime we play Philly, we give Philly our best. No matter if it's at Lincoln Financial Field, if it's in Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium, man, we give them our best no matter how ugly the game might be. But both sides give each other their all. No matter if it's week 18, no matter if it's a playoff game, no matter even if somehow we played in preseason, it doesn't matter. We always give each other problems. So real quick, before I even talk about Dallas, my team, we're going to talk about Philly real quick. Like I said, overhyped. They were overhyping Jalen Hurts, saying how he was automatically going to be the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. I knew that was cap. You play one of the worst teams in the league in the Atlanta Falcons. Everyone knew that. But people like Bart Scott and a lot of Philly lovers thought that, oh my God, this is the true Eagles and this is what the Eagles are going to be all season. I don't believe it. Still don't believe it. Jalen Hurts, to me, young brother, bro, like, he's going to be fine in this league, but just not with Philly, man. Look, so overhyped, and see what happens when they play the real team. Not saying San Fran's a real team because they're not really healthy and everything like that. I feel like if they're healthy, they're all right, but their secondary is really, really, really suspect. Their D-line isn't really that dynamic. Right now, as of right now, you have one young piece with Javon Kinlaw, but I don't know if Nick Bosa's out there on the field yet, because I remember he tore his ACL about week 2, week 3, so he's probably not getting any play time right now. So that doesn't really look that great right now. So they don't have Nick Bosa, and then you still have Eric Armstead, who's a beast. You still have D Ford and things like that. So when they played a real team, they lost. So going against Dallas, but to me, just the best team in this division. We have one understandable loss. The other three don't. They don't like. We have one loss against a really great team, and we have one win against a really good team. So I believe that you balance that out. I believe that we're one of the best teams in the East right now because we played two competent opponents in back-to-back weeks. And then prayers up to Brandon Graham. I don't like Philly at all, but I respect them as human beings. And I don't like how their fans like to look at us like animals or things and stuff like that. They have no respect for us. But I have respect for like their them as people, like humans and stuff like that. With the Eagles. So prayers up to Brandon Graham. That sucks that he tore his Achilles. I want to see everybody. I want to see every player, every team at their best, and especially when my Cowboys are playing against them, I want to see every team at their best. So that's why there's no excuses. And not only that, I just want to see a fun, competitive game. I still believe this game is going to be competitive. And the couple storylines with this game, the Philadelphia Eagles, they do not have good luck going into AT&T Stadium in the past 3.5 years. Every time they come into Dallas, we spank them all the time. You look at 2019 when we went 8-8. We blew them out like 40-14. We played them in 2018. We swept them that year, but in 2018, we beat them in overtime. Last year, when we were completely depleted, but we still had great skill positions like TP, Tony Pollard, a.k.a. Tony Pollard, Zeke, the trio wide receiver. And then you had an incompetent defense, but you still had really nice people on there. You still had DeMarcus Lawrence, you had Randy Gregory, and then you had Trevon Diggs. Those were our bright spots last year. Then we went out there last year and destroyed them 35-14. I'm not saying that all this game is going to be a blowout, but one thing, like I said before, I was harping on it a little bit before, is that when you're suspect on the Cowboys and you say like, oh, they're efficient here, they're efficient there, and things like that. One thing I do know is that when Philly comes to town, I'm talking about when they come to Dallas, Dallas plays their most complete game. This is when Dak is on. This is when Zeke looks like 2016 Zeke, not that same burst, but Zeke looks like an elite back. He's an elite back to me anyway, but no, he really proves it out there to people that he's really elite back. Like, we kill Philly. Amari kills the Eagles all the time. He just straight up kills them. Our Titans have a field day. Offensive line, we just play defense. They look like a freaking top 5 defense when we play against these boys in Dallas. Like, I expect just that. Dak Prescott, the last time he played this team, Philly, was in 2019 in that debacle for the NFC East, man. That was not a great game from anybody. Dak, Zeke, it was just a horrible game. The Cowboys played like crap that day. And I believe Dak Prescott, he will come out here with a vengeance, man. A lot of fans were talking down, laughing when he went down, things like that. So I'm pretty sure Dak heard the noise. Philly fans, we already know what this game's about. It's Philly week. There's no grin. There's no smile. We're not playing around this week on both sides. Philly knows what the week it is, and we know what week it is, man. We're not playing with each other. We know what time it is, man. We're gonna lace up them cleats. We're gonna be friends after the game, maybe, but pre-game, during the game, it's gonna be chirping, and this is gonna be another great Monday night game. This is gonna be a great Monday night game. Y'all thought that Raiders and Ravens game was something? It's gonna be. Don't worry, we gonna top that. It's not gonna be an overtime because we're gonna whoop Philly, because we always whoop Philly in Dallas. But it's gonna be a great game for me in Dallas Cowboy Nation, because we're really gonna put it on Philly, man. So it is what it is. We're gonna beat Philly. Bills gonna beat Washington. All right, so I believe right here. I hate to say it, but I don't know. I hate to say I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but how I always pick the opposite team. I want the Falcons to win. I want the Falcons to win, but are they really going to win, or are they going to get a lead on the Giants, get too comfortable, and then have the Giants come back and they're going to seem like Daniel Jones is this great quarterback and he had it in him all along and this and this and that. So I want Atlanta to win. Do I want them to win? Yeah, but do I think they will win? Probably not. New York's pissed. They're pissed as well. They're both 0-2 teams. They're both bottom feeder teams right now. It's only week 2, but obviously they're both fighting of the fact where they don't want to be 0-3. So both teams have a lot on the line. I think this is going to be a pretty good trash game, where it's trash teams, but it's going to be a good game for the fact that they don't want to go 0-3. It will demoralize them on the season, and not only that, it's going to be demoralizing, loss of confidence on either side of the ball. So I think that this is going to be a hard-fought game. I want Atlanta to obviously come out on top, but I think New York's going to win, just for the simple fact that New York is simply they're both trash, but Giants have better trash around them than what Atlanta does. Giants, I believe that they're not going to be able to contain somebody like a Calvin Ridley or a Kyle Pitts or anything like that, but it's going to be kind of hard for them to do that. But I think New York, they're going to be fine, even though I don't want that to be the case. But I think they might be fine, and we're going to get a dub. So basically, going into September 28th, I believe that we'll be number 1 in the division. I believe everybody else is going to take an L, except for the Giants. Philly, they're losing. They're going to drop to 1-2. Bills, they're going to keep that momentum. They're on a vengeance. They're going to go out there. They're going to whoop Washington. Washington's going to fall 1-2. New York's going to beat Atlanta. Even though I want Atlanta to win, but in my heart, I want Atlanta to win. But in my gut feeling, man, it's telling me that New York's going to win. So I feel like it's going to be a 3-way tie for second. It's going to be a 3-way tie for second place. But when you look at the standings next week, we're going to be number 1 on top. So Yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed my week 2 picks and my overlook on the NFC East. Thank you guys for watching and have a nice day.